special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high? Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide, in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide, in a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova in the sky. Wake up the dawn and ask her why. A dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. Slowly walking down the hall,
All right, welcome back. Happy Mother's Day, and I'm here with the baddest motherfucker this side of Greenwich Mean Time, Mr. Arjun Sinha, who we have not had for a while. And I'd like to get his opinion on a number of topics. Arjun, so
Yeah.
Mother's Day, of course, is very important worldwide. However, the definition of a mother has become sort of fudged a bit by our progressive friends. Do you believe that, uh, given the current, vibe in society, that everybody should get a Mother's Day card?
Uh, I mean, define everybody.
Like everyone with a pulse?
uh, means since like more than 10,000 genders today, I think we can safely like at least send cards to at least half of those people on that spectrum. Right. So, by the way, I'm sponsored by this company
Oh
here.
crap!
Uh,
Now we're gonna get sued. Thanks. Yeah.
uh, yeah, Mother's Day. I don't know. Like, how crazy has it gotten? Like, I don't have much the finger on the pulse.
Well, I mean,
So please enlighten us.
I mean, my mom passed away a few years ago, so I don't really. I mean, if I even asked my stepmom if they're doing anything for Mother's Day because they used to, but I haven't gotten any response. So I don't even know what people do anymore because I haven't necessarily celebrated it in about 7 or 8 years.
Hmm.
So I don't know what people do. I used to get my mom some gifts, and she used to like usually just say that they were shitty, and I'd have to like return them and whatever. So I don't even know what to like. What do you guys do over there in? Well, you're not even living in India anymore, technically, right? But whatever you do in your family, what do you guys do?
Yeah, but you see, for us, it's not a special day because every day is Mother's Day in India because
Oh
moms are
come
very
on, are you
important.
for real?
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm not like try telling a your mama joke in India, right? Try and you'll offend everybody, regardless of ideology. You'll offend everybody.
I will.
So so it's a very emotional issue. So I don't know, like Mother's Day, like I have we have a very different perspective on Mother's Day. Like it's like one of those telenovelas.
Mhm.
So yeah, cue the dramatic music.
Yeah, I think it's certainly something given to, culture, like whichever culture you're in, there's like a different importance to it. Of course, here in the U.S., it's a good gift giving holiday, just like almost every other holiday. So we've basically
Mhm.
commercialized it. Um,
Yeah,
but they're actually trying to do away with Father's Day soon. So this might be the only chance you get
yeah,
to respect any of your parents.
that
I've been hearing
dude.
about this since last year. Yeah. So hey boys, sorry I'm a little late. But yeah, no, last year even I remember putting out a video on my channel. I was talking about how they were trying to do away with Father's Day.
Yeah. Hi, Jimso.
How
What's
you
up?
guys doing today?
What's up, Adrian?
Uh,
You already drunk for Mother's
it's
Day?
What what's that?
You already drunk for Mother's Day?
You know it. Yeah, that's why I was a little late. I was just over visiting my mother today, and I just had to make my way home.
hmm, punch drunk love, eh?
That's gross. That's my mother
Punch
you're
drunk.
talking about.
Yeah, Arjun just got
Oh,
finished saying that you can't tell a yo mama joke in India.
oh, and I guess I guess good vibrations, good vibrations attract
Oh yeah, he was telling
goodwill.
me. So we were kind of like at a loss of what music to play at the beginning today. So he suggested the Beach Boys. I'm like, the Beach Boys? Are we trying to are we trying to get a strike?
Does
Yeah.
anybody like the Beach Boys?
I mean, here in nobody under the age of 55 here.
I was going to say, like, I don't think you'll find a millennial here who even knows what the Beach Boys are.
Dude, there was this movie in the 80s, right, starring Val Kilmer. It was one of those parodies, like called Top Secret. I saw it long time back.
Mhm.
It had like an insane parody of all these surfer themed songs, right? Like it was insane. Like so my sort of relationship with the Beach Boys and all surfer based songs is long and colorful. So I won't hear a single negative opinion against the Beach Boys. So yeah, there.
Yeah,
Drink
so
Coke, everybody.
I guess we can't talk about the band that Charles Manson almost convinced to join his cult. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. It's
Did he
not,
actually?
So,
he,
wait,
he,
what?
try, he tried to get them to join his cult. He got Brian Wilson to join for a while, in fact.
Well, he was.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was a big
He
thing.
was. He was. He was that time. Charles Manson, I think, was that time Scientology. So, which wouldn't have been anything out of the ordinary then, right?
Yeah, stand by, guys, because I am trying to fix the bit rate. It keeps saying that it's too low, but I don't know what the hell they want from me. Let's see here.
Interesting. I've never had that problem. For me, it always is like way too high. It's telling me that it's encoder overload.
Should I lower it to like 360p?
Well, it keeps telling me that it's not receiving enough. Let me see if I reload the control screen. Maybe it'll work now. Anyway, topics for today.
Yeah.
Let's
Go,
talk-
Adrian. You start.
Nexium.
Nexium. Oh damn it, man. That's a downer. I was a huge fan of Smallville, man.
You were just a fan of Allison Mack.
No. Yeah. No, not really. Like her character was like a little too spunky. So yeah.
Yeah, people keep saying that there's a lot of buffering, but there's not much I can do. I mean, I adjusted the stream as best as I could.
Could they be trolling us?
No, I mean, it's saying on the screen too.
So who's with us? Like I see Wilman 757 and Exhausted Under the Sun. Hi guys, welcome to the most out there podcast.
All right, let's see if it got any better. It says good now. All right, let's see if this lasts. Okay, Arjun, back to talking about how miserable you feel.
Yeah, great start to the podcast, by the way. Way to keep the viewership.
I mean, what do you want me to do? This thing it's acting like this all the time now.
Yeah. So, Adrian, what's up in Canada? What's going on?
Moment? Well, we did just have a, I guess you could call it a victory, because we just had a vice admiral. He was the second in command of the Canadian forces, who was put on trial. He was put on trial because there was a leak. I kind of spoke to Bold about this off air a couple weeks ago, but there was a leak in which it had to do with shipbuilding. So there was the shipbuilding yard that had won a contract with the previous government before it was voted out. And then once the Trudeau government came in, that shipyard got changed. Like they changed it to a different contract. And anyway, that information got leaked. They blamed the vice admiral for it. They were getting ready for his trial. And then just out of seemingly out of the blue, they ended up dropping all charges against them. Now, the reason that they think they dropped all charges against them was because if it had gone to trial, it would have looked very bad for the Trudeau government because they were going to have a Liberal MP who currently sits in the government was going to testify against the government. We found out that the military had been redacting documents and also withholding documents that were requested by Mark Norman's attorney. And pretty much it looked like it was going to be another scandal under the Trudeau government. Considering we're getting ready for election time, we believe that he interfered in another criminal court case in order to get the charges dropped, because if it had gotten to trial, we would have seen how much manipulation was going on. So that was a bit of a victory, but at the same time, it's now looking just like an SNC Lavalin scandal. It looks like he just manipulated and entered the court system, had his new attorney general drop the charges, and so pretty much this guy is, every single time it is either in his favor or against his favor, he is getting involved in the court system. So every single day it looks like he's becoming more and more tyrannical, you know, because the exact definition of a dictatorship is somebody who has control over the legislative, executive, and judicial branch, and that's exactly what he's doing. So a bit of a victory for this guy, but at the same time, he's not getting his old job back, despite the fact that all charges were dropped. And people are now making the comparison as to what he's dealt with and in what in the payout that Omar Khadr got, who was, you know, he got $10.5 million, was an actual. And then Mark Norman was a guy who was probably falsely accused. He denied all the charges, but falsely accused. And now he's lost his job and he is millions of dollars in debt from the court case. Although the one good thing about that is we just found out that the government is going to be covering his court fees. So lately, that's what's been new in Canada.
Well, basically, what I get the feeling that the Liberal Party of Canada is slowly turning into the Canadian Hydra. Like they're yeah. So
wait, you have to do this while you say Hydra. Yeah, I like that.
Well, I don't know.
What about Cobra?
I don't see. No. Canadian Hydras, I think I'm not sorry. That's that old.
That's from that meme.
Yeah, you used right on yours. It's too funny. But seriously, they are turning into the Canadian Hydra, the Liberal Party.
How so?
Well, they're working like one of those Gestapos kind of thing. They're taking over all kinds of institutions. So they are becoming Hydra, right? Kind of.
Well, Chrystia Freeland's grandfather was a Nazi collaborator.
Oh, for real? Where?
Oh, yeah, if you look back into her grandfather, I don't remember the guy's name. I would have to quickly research it, but I believe he was a collaborator through a news agency. He used to put out their propaganda.
I mean, does the Conservative Party have to campaign at all this time?
Not all that much, to be honest. I mean, if things are still going if things are still going to trend in the way they have been, then probably not. I mean, you look at what the country was like in 2015. There was one conservative government amongst 10 provinces now, and there was probably like 6 liberal governments, like provincial governments. You look at it now, there's about, I think, 6 or 7 conservative, provincial, 1 liberal, and like 2 NDP or something like that. So it ain't really looking good. No, sorry, 1 NDP and like 1 Liberal Party or something like that. But yeah, it's not looking good for them.
No, I recently saw this video about Michelle Rempel in your parliament. Like she was saying that like apparently the Trudeau government has misquoted how many sort of immigrants have returned, right? Illegal immigrants have gone back. Apparently, they quoted something like 30,000 immigrants went back, whereas she said that only 6 have been verified to have gone back. 6, as in the number 6. So,
well, I gotta say, I'm not sure offhand because I didn't see what she had to say on the matter. It really wouldn't surprise me, although it doesn't really matter whether they go back or not because they still get welfare money that just got released, that even those people who have been deported are still receiving Canadian welfare.
Wow. Can't another ethics investigation be opened into Trudeau's activities?
That's what everybody wants, but it just seems like the RCMP isn't willing to do it. We'll end up seeing if anything does come out of it, if like maybe they change their minds. But as of right now, like there's been several things that they could investigate him for and just have not done it. Although they are reinvestigating his trips to the Aga Khan Island, because that ended up coming, I guess it was this past Christmas, so like Christmas of 2017 is when he was found guilty on ethics charges for that. And then just within the last month, apparently they're reopening the investigation into that. So, but still, there's way worse things that they could catch him on. But for some reason, they're going back on this. I think part of the reason that they're doing it is that out of everything he's done, that's really one of the, it's not that bad. Okay, like he took a gift that he wasn't supposed to, and he was found guilty on 4 ethics charges. But, it's not really that's not something that could really bring down a government, when him getting involved with the judicial system actually could. And I think it's sort of a deflection, go after this, make it seem like you're actually investigating something when in fact you're just letting him off the hook for worse charges.
Basically, he can just right now just go with the election slogan to die hard. Like that should be his election slogan this time. Like there are too many things he can be taken down by. It's one of those that what do you call it? Like his box of sins is full. Like if I'm to loosely translate an Indian phrase, his box of sins are I think full. I don't see him coming back though. Like with this much baggage, I don't see him coming back.
Well,
I would be very surprised.
Well, this is just a theory. I don't really see anything to actually say it's true or not. But apparently, the Liberals are looking for someone else to take over the party coming into the election. Not sure who that would be. Some have speculated that maybe Chrystia Freeland would take over, but whether it happens or not, it's really just a theory right now. But I could see it because a lot of people are not happy with what he's done. There's people talking about how now, average Canadians who don't pay attention to politics are now commenting about how bad of a job they think he's doing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made a decision like that sometime soon, maybe just before election time, maybe decide to force him to step down, which they can do. You can a party can vote out a new leader, their own leader, even if he's the prime minister. That's not a problem. It's pretty easy for the party to actually get the prime minister out of this position. It's just more difficult to get the party out of position, without you have to have an election for that. But to remove your leader, you just have to have the party have a vote. If most people decide to remove him, then they can install a new leader there, and that person would become prime minister.
No, you should really hope that Chrystia Freeland becomes the leader of the party. Then, in 5 to 10 years, there will be no more Liberal Party if she becomes the leader.
Actually, I'm on the reverse end of that. I think it would be better if Trudeau stayed in as the leader, because I think he's done enough damage to the image. But most people don't look at the party; they look at him. That if he was to stay in as leader, I think it would be a better opportunity than if they switched to someone else. Because if they switch to someone else, like Chrystia Freeland, then they can sort of play it off as, we've rooted out the corruption in our party. We're a brand new party, vote for us. And that might actually work on people. So I think it'd actually do more damage if he stayed on as leader than if they put someone else in his place.
Godspeed, buddy. Godspeed.
Oh, it's a crapshoot up here right now, man.
Seriously, dude, it's over here. It's pretty much the same. Bengal, there has been so much violence. So many people from the BJP have been killed by Mamata Banerjee and her party goons.
Well, I just heard, wasn't there another terrorist attack in that area, within the last couple of days?
No, not in India. No,
I thought so. Maybe I was thinking of somewhere else then.
No, what you would have heard is that there's some guys have wearing those Taliban kind like those headscarf. They have like released a video holding guns, like professing, I think, those what do you call allegiance to the to Mamata Banerjee's party, and like there has been insane amount of poll violence, right? Like people have even attacked the goons have even attacked the central forces, like the territorial army, those kind of guys who have been like providing security. So they've been doing things like TMC party cadre have gone to the homes of old people, and they have like escorted them to the booth and made them press the button for for TMC and such stuff like that. In other areas, she has actually stopped Hindus from voting. So and the BJP has just given like full like coverage to this. Like she has been, I mean, the damage she has done to herself in the last few phases of election. I mean, I have rarely seen a political leader self-destruct like this. So
Wait, but
It's funny.
by coverage, do
Oh,
you
go
mean
ahead.
that they're covering for her, or that? Do you mean that the BJP is like covering it up, or that they're
no,
publicizing
they're
it?
they're putting it in the media spotlight. And in fact, BJP has straight up accused, like the Prime Minister himself has accused news channels for trying to cover it up, but for not covering it. So the media is under tremendous pressure. I mean, the left-leaning media is under tremendous pressure, and like every day, something or the other is coming out, some revelation or the other regarding poll what do you call poll violence or attempted murder or something or the other. Like she's not even sparing other parties. It's like there was this one place where the communist candidates, one of few of her goons set fire to that communist candidate's house, and it burned to the ground. I don't know if that guy survived or not, but the kind of violence that we have seen in Bengal this time, I mean, no election in the history of Indian elections has it been this violent.
Well, I'm
So
trying to
yeah,
remember. Is this which elections are these? Are these like a federal election?
the general election, like the prime ministerial.
Okay, gotcha. Because yeah, you know what? That actually kind of makes sense because I just saw like when it kind of made its rounds on Twitter a few days ago that it was I can't remember the news source that it was from, but it was an article that said like enough of Prime Minister Modi's divisive politics on it, and I thought it was pretty funny. I actually forgot to tag you in on it, but I ended up kind of replying. I was like, how can you call him divisive when he has the overwhelming support of the people in India? You know, like you and I have talked many times about how much support, how many ridings, and how many people support the BJP. So it's kind of funny to say that when he's.
Are you talking about the Time magazine article?
Oh, I think it was Time.
Okay, now there is an interesting like background to that. It is written by this guy called Atish Tasir, right? Now his dad was the governor of one of the provinces in Pakistan, who was recently assassinated. I think last year, a few months back. His dad was assassinated by his own bodyguard, right? Because I'll tell you why. Because he was a liberal. His dad was a liberal. Salman Taseer was a liberal, and he supported the removal of blasphemy laws from the constitution. Okay, and he was trying to protect this Christian woman who had been harassed using blasphemy laws, and his own guard killed him. Okay, so now Atish Tasir is, but the funny fact is, Atish Tasir is not his legitimate kid. Okay, he is his mother is an Indian journalist, and she had a brief fling with him, and he's the product, and she is a supporter of Modi. His mother is a supporter of Modi. Okay, so it's a very confusing history this guy has, and this guy has taken up, I think, a Pakistani passport, and He's just, and that article is just full of lies. There are enough videos on YouTube debunking that article. So it's not even a serious article, and it does not do any good for Time to produce pieces like this, because it just damages their credibility. It's like the New York Times. Like nobody cares. Like they're not a serious organization. Like the BBC, not a serious organization anymore, at least. So uh, that and the funny thing is, when Modi went to Bengal, okay, for his first rally, if you in a couple of phases back, more than 500 people, more than 500,000 people showed up to that rally. It was it sent alarm bells ringing in Mamata Banerjee's party. That is when she really stepped up the violence, when she saw hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are coming to his rallies in Bengal. And record voter turnout has happened. More than 80% of the voters have turned up this time in different parts of Bengal. Means every time in India, it's a rule of thumb that if there is a record turnout, that usually means a change of government. So, well, fingers crossed for that.
Hold on, you mean a change in government, but the BJP is in power right now, so you're not talking about them getting changed, or do you mean that?
No. I'm talking about in Bengal. In Bengal, they will.
Oh, in Bengal. Okay.
The lower house. See, this is the election for the lower house seats, right? Usually, TMC sweeps the lower house seats because of their like deep roots in Bengal. Now this time BJP is saying, out of the 42 lower house seats available from Bengal, BJP is projected to win at least 23, which is unheard of, because BJP the previous time won only 3 or 4 seats. Or 2 seats.
Well,
I'm sorry.
how many seats are there in Bengal?
In Bengal, I said 42.
42, and they're going to win 23. Wow, that is pretty good.
Yeah, like this is like BJP is projected, like fingers crossed, but you never know what happens in elections. But the fact is, that is what has Mamata Banerjee terrified this time. Like she has lost her sense of proportion. She's lost her head. Like I've rarely seen a politician self-destruct like this. It's like that level of like stupidity.
It's funny because even you know that you're in trouble, because in that Time article, the reason I found it was because Tariq Fatah ended up retweeting it with a comment, and even in that comment, he was actually in support of Modi, you know, and he's pretty much a self-proclaimed Marxist. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, damn, even the Marxist is supporting Modi.
No, Tariq Fatah supports Modi for very many other reasons, and he's a very weird Marxist. Like he's not one of those frothing at the mouth, rabid sort of Marxists, like they usually are. But Tariq Fatah, he's also he's like quite a communist. Like he started the Communist Party of Canada. So but the fact is that he's also like he's sensible to a great extent, right? Like he knows like where the boundaries are. So when he sees like the Islamists like cross the line, he like gives it to them. Like he's abusing the Islamists on social media all the time. Like every day he gets up in the morning and he starts abusing the Islamists. Right? He abuses Pakistan. He abuses whole bunch of people. He abuses the communists and the leftists in India. He just goes like that's his daily routine. He gets up in the morning, takes a couple of breaths, and starts abusing. So that guy is quite like he's quite magnificent that way.
Well, that's pretty much what he's made his career out of, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah. Bold. Any words? Any thoughts?
Is it as cringy as Elizabeth Warren drinking beer?
you should just tweet Wakanda forever at her.
Do you say it
Is
might be
that a
worse?
real human woman? Wow. Wait, what? My wonderful who? Rushing. Who is Douglas Emhoff? Okay. I didn't know she was married.
So wait. So she made her own Mother's Day food?
Oh, one of the interesting things I recently saw was, I think, I saw today, or was it yesterday? Joe Rogan has endorsed Tulsi Gabbard.
Has he? I didn't hear about that.
They don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to hear about it. But has she got the required number of donations? Biden won't do well in this election. Like, Trump is a master at mudslinging. I don't think Mr. Creepy Joe will survive. No, no, not in the primaries. I'm saying the real face-off next year. I think I mean, like, Trump is like he's a master. He's like a triple PhD, like a 14th dan like jujitsu black belt in mudslinging.
See,
So
Joe Biden is going to win the Democratic primaries because he's just going to feel everyone else up until they get awkward and quit.
oh, oh, okay. I mean, let's see. I think Bernie is going to like fold in the last phase of the race just before this guy gets the nomination. I think Joe Biden, as of now, the kind of recognition he has, name recognition and all that, and his history with the DNC, I think he's going to walk all over the other candidates. Like, nobody, I think, has a chance against him. He doesn't. I don't think even has to attend a debate. Like, he'll just get the nomination. That's the air about him right now. Yeah, Biden. Yeah, Biden. I mean, I mean, like, okay, but I think in this case, I think Biden's appearance at debates will be like more like a courtesy, out of courtesy he will appear. I don't think he has much of a challenge in the Democrat lineup unless suddenly Tulsi Gabbard acquires superpowers and like becomes, yeah, I know, but she's actually on the left. She's like a reasonable candidate, like a what a normal candidate should be. Yeah, because she she if she assumes office, like she's going to like start investigating the Democrat Party. She's like that kind of a candidate. She's just crazy enough to do it. That's interesting. I mean, whoever gets the nomination, by that I mean Joe Biden. I don't think it's going to be like a it's going to be it's going to be a train wreck watching the Democrat candidate like debating Trump. It's going to be so. I mean, satisfying would be one thing, but it'll be it'll be a crime. It'll be a crime in progress. It'll be a Trump on left. It's going to be, yeah.
So what has
What I think
happened with it?
had.
Go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was
Go
just
ahead. Go
going to
ahead.
ask what the hell happened to Andrew Lang? Andrew Yang, sorry. Well, I thought he would be do a little better just because he turned into a meme for a little bit, the whole Yang Gang thing, and then it just seemed to drop off the face of the planet. I thought he would be able to capitalize on that a little bit, but as soon as like people were done with the Yang Gang meme, suddenly he just didn't. He just disappeared. I mean, the guy even appeared on Joe Rogan for Christ's sake.
What's your thoughts on the fact that would Biden ever take Harris as his VP? Like what?
Yeah, I think so. His he just got his little avatar.
Are the chances? Hello,
Hey, we hear you
hello.
again.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying like Harris is she has got quite a lot of visibility as of now at the beginning of this race. And means I was thinking like maybe even she is strategizing as to like get on the Biden ticket. No, I mean, do you have any inside knowledge? That's what I was asking. Oh yeah, that was an image, I guess. That's quite an image that you have like painted for us. But yeah, that could. Oh,
Ouch.
Larry, 21 gun salute, hai, to Larry. Yeah. Oh, by the way, like Netanyahu won the election, Likud for life. So what's going on in the country which you actually owe your allegiance to? Hmm. But he's hammering the left. Dude, he bombed the Hamas so much that they became a political party. Dude, did Hamas has I haven't like it's everywhere, right? Like the Hamas became a political party, right? In Palestine. I mean, they no, they weren't that like they weren't that like I'm saying their terrorism division has less sort of recruits now, and their political division has more recruits. They are now fully turning into a political party. Like they are going professionally into politics. From professional terrorists, they are becoming professional like terror supporting politicians.
I don't
That's
know.
how much he has bombed them.
I don't know. I don't know who told you that, but I
Maybe
think
I'm wrong. I don't know, but
I
that's
don't
the
think
impression.
anybody's really changed that. People are telling me the audio was down. Yeah, I just fixed it. Sorry. Um, so yeah, the real problem with with no. I mean, I don't think that anything's changed. I think it's the same thing, and I don't understand why everybody like. I know Adrian isn't exactly like hot on like the Israelis, so I like you probably agree with me. I mean, what's the big deal with Netanyahu anyway? Like everybody focuses on him all the time, and they think he's like some sort of superstar over there. Meanwhile, he's basically it's the same thing this past 10 years. So I don't know what Arjun's talking about.
I don't know. You guys are just anti-Semitic.
No, but
Ouch.
like what do you like focus like so he got reelected. What changed?
No, like, see, that's the thing. See, he has changed the perception in the Israeli population, right? He has success. See, earlier that nonsense that was going on regarding Israel and Palestine. Do you hear Palestine even a peep out of Palestine of late?
Sure.
Who is supporting Palestine?
Well, yeah, there was
Like,
just
look at the global-
a couple
Yeah,
weeks
look
ago
at the
there
global
was that
leadership.
bombing that happened.
What's that?
I said just a couple weeks ago there was some rocket fire exchange between Israel and Palestine.
No, I'm
Like,
saying,
what, a week,
do they
2 weeks
have
ago?
that kind of a voice? No, I'm saying, do they have that kind of a voice? How many people are listening to Palestine anymore? Do you see? If you notice, see, because I am very clued up on this from this end, that because this is a very important issue. India has very strong relations in the Middle East, right? There's always something or the other. Netanyahu and Modi became friends, right? After that, he and Modi, he has used Modi, like with Modi's help. He has just like he has managed to lessen the ruckus in places like the UN and all. And global leadership wise, if you notice, see, because and Modi has a lot of importance in the Middle East because of old relations. Like we have had old relations free of partisanship. Like neither we were affiliated to neither of the superpowers and their interests. So we have had stable relationship with the Islamic countries in the Middle East. But since after Trump has uh, moved the embassy to Jerusalem, after he announced that, the Middle Eastern countries after that came to Modi. They are very afraid that Modi is going to be the next guy who will move his embassy to Jerusalem. And if that happens, if two of the largest democracies in the world move their embassies to Jerusalem, that's going to have a devastating effect on the in Middle East politics. That's why even Palestine, but at least in the global sense, Palestine's voice, that disproportionate loudness of their voice they had before, they don't have it anymore. And Israel has not only the backing of the US in Trump, he has also now the backing of India and many of India's allies in this part of the world. So Israel's position has become super strong, super strong. So basically, Netanyahu has basically a hall pass. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, so why doesn't he?
Because he doesn't want to antagonize them, because it has just settled down. He wants to strengthen his position and then maybe do something about whatever he wants to.
That's ridiculous. He's had like years and years and years to strengthen his position, and then what's he trying to do? Like, he can't get quite to doggy style. I mean, I don't understand this. It's like he's had 10 years in power, and you're saying he needs to keep strengthening his position, like
Yeah.
So he's gonna stay.
See,
they're just gonna have
politics
to
is not instant gratification. Politics is not. See, Israel did not have the support even 5 years ago. The amount of support in the world it has today. Right, things have really changed in the last 5 years for Israel. So see, it has, and just because things started to change about 5 years ago, it takes time. If it has just started, it will take time to sort of come to fruition, and that's why it helps to have Bibi in power now. He can do more to solidify the position of the right.
What do you think about that, Adrian?
Well, I think he's again, like you said, he needs to solidify his position. I think he's well solidified. I mean, he just pretty much was talking about what they wanted to do with the Golan Heights. I don't see what the difference is just because he got reelected as to that's going to change everything already. That's all. I mean, just the fact that they had the backing of the U.S. pretty much has them safe. I mean, India is, yes, it's very influential in the Asian countries, but like considering the influence that America has worldwide, I think just being backed by America pretty much guaranteed that he could do whatever the hell he wanted to begin with.
No, it was, see, America support is absolutely critical, crucial for Israel. That is, there's no doubt about that. But because Israel has now got a lot of supporters, I'm not only talking about India here. Israel has become more connected, like Japan and all. But through India, it has connected to Asian powers like Japan and all that. Not that they didn't have relations before. Now it has become even stronger. So
well, I think that depends on how you look at it, because we can talk about, like, yeah, government wise, yeah, I would agree with you that like a lot of governments have given their support to the Israelis, and that includes a lot of on all sides, like, you know, whether that's left or right parties. I can agree with you on that, but I don't think that Israel is winning the PR war right now. You know, I think more than ever we've ever seen, there's people who are actually more, the populations are more on the Palestinian sides than they have been in the past. So I think that depends on the way you look at it.
yeah, but see, you can never tell. Geopolitics can change any time, right? All the
absolutely.
work that Israel has done may become nullified by any sort of event that may occur in the Middle East. But that can always happen. But see, this could be a difference in perspective and media coverage also. Like in India, media is more pro-Israel than probably in the West. So we see a different kind of narrative here. So maybe it's a difference in that. Like that's why we perceive different things. Like truth might be between those two narratives somewhere. That's always possible.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see what ends up coming out. Oh, did we lose Arjun?
No, I'm here.
He's still there.
Okay. No, for a second I thought we lost you.
Okay, let's see if it got better. It's still bad.
Right off the start, eh?
Yeah. Last time at least it said good for a while, but
maybe what we do then is we stream through Google Hangouts instead of OBS if it's giving you that much problems.
No.
Do you have like a?
I don't think we should go through that much effort. I see more people are climbing back in, so
okay.
Let's see if it works out for, you know, at least a little more. Let's do this for like 20 more minutes, and then maybe we'll call it a day.
Okay.
We could talk about Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Yeah, it's quite a hot button topic
ready?
here. No. How about dush? So, would you like to talk about it, or do we invest time in sound effects?
I don't know.
Hello?
What's like the news over there?
Okay, now after the airstrikes that happened earlier this year, like India, they got put on the terror grey list, right? The Financial Action Task Force put them on the grey list.
Mm-hmm.
They have now approached the IMF for a loan, I think, because now they have like nearly nil foreign reserves, like they are nearly bankrupt, and they are approaching a situation of where there's going to be stag inflation. The economy is going to be in recession, whereas the inflation is going to like just keep rising and rising. Already basic goods like are insanely expensive. They have just so some of the like food, especially food items, have increased by in order of magnitudes, right? Like for example, like fruits and vegetables have gone like are now in the price range of like $10 to $20, like which is if you convert into Pakistani rupees, like that's a lot. Like basic foodstuffs shouldn't be that expensive. Their fuel prices are now touching the roof. Now Pakistan is, if it does not get a loan from the IMF, which is a very conditional loan because they'll have to devalue their currency, They cannot use that money to pay off other loans, like for example to China and other countries, and nobody's lending them money right now. So they are looking at an economic collapse if 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 things don't go well for them, because the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has already sacked a lot of people in his cabinet. He sacked his finance minister. He sacked his his minister of the interior, his the guy in charge of internal security. He and both these guys have been replaced by deep state guys who are connected to the deep state. In fact, the guy who has been appointed as like his home minister, his minister of the interior, is called Hafiz Sheikh. He's the guy who masterminded the Osama thing. He planned to have Osama in Pakistan. He's the guy who is connected to a whole bunch of terror groups. He's like deep state as it gets. So like things are not looking good for Pakistan. And yeah,
Well, if they take these loans from the IMF, then they're pretty much screwing themselves anyway. All that's going to end up happening is that they're going to get the money, but they're going to owe it back. And the IMF always is giving you high interest rates on it. So
no, see, that's the thing. No, that's why their economy is now entering recession, and the inflation is still increasing at an alarming rate. So, as I said, stagflation, as it's called, where the inflation and the GDP go in opposite directions of growth. So, yeah, so that's a very dangerous scenario for any economy. Like, if,
Yeah, Adrian,
yo,
what's a CRA scam?
the CRA,
Yeah.
Canadian Revenue Agency.
Yeah, it says here there's this story from the Beaverton,
Mm-hmm.
which is it says India cracks on CRA scams after Canada threatens to send PM back for another official visit.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I actually have been hit by this. Like, I didn't fall for it, but I've been hit by it, and a couple other people I know, which were calls coming in, and a lot of them were traced back to India, which is pretty much they contact you saying they're from the revenue agency, and it says, "Oh, you owe us $2,000 on your taxes, like back pay taxes. You know, if you don't send it to us, we're going to get the police involved." So people tend to people will get scared, and then they'll usually send off the money, and they lose their money. For me, when it happened to me and they said I owed a couple $1,000s in taxes, I just called the CRA and I asked them about that. And I was like, yeah, so I got this call about that. You know, can you tell me if that's true or not? And the person like immediately was like, oh yeah, no, that's a scam. Don't worry about it. You're fine. So yeah, so like this was going on maybe like 6 months, 9 months ago, that the Canadian government and the CRA were trying to crack down on these sort of scams going around.
Yeah, I heard about this. Like India has been cracking down on these guys for quite some time. Like they cracked down on some of the biggest gangs, which run, I think, 90 to 95% of the scams in India. I think those guys are like they're going to they're all going to get sent to jail. Like they're finished basically. I don't think you'll hear about scams from India at least anytime soon, because these guys also operate from Pakistan and Bangladesh. So like they have a international agreement. They scam together. So yeah, India's been cracking down on them for a long time. Like they're almost done in India at least.
Oh, really? I didn't, because I knew that all I'd heard is that they were asking for crackdowns on it, and I had heard that the Indian government was doing something about it, but I didn't know how far along they gotten and whether there was actually going.
Action.
Yeah,
very harsh action has been taken. Harsh action. There's been like no mercy.
Well, I'm not complaining to that. I can tell you that much.
So, anything else of note that's been happening?
I'm trying to think of something. The only thing I can really think of is the Nexium trial, but we're still waiting for more details to come out about that, about Keith Rainier or Raniere or whatever the hell his name is.
I
Yeah,
think
they-
I think they've I think they're charging Alison Mack, right? I think
She confessed. She made a confession, so she is getting charged, but it's a much reduced sentence compared to what she would have gotten.
for spilling the beans on the Keith Raniere guy.
Yeah, exactly. She's not the only one. It was Alison Mack ended up confessing. Claire Bronfman entered a guilty plea and made a confession, and so did I think it was Nancy Salzman, who was like the co-founder of Nexium. They
Wow.
all like entered guilty pleas into this, but they're getting like hugely reduced sentences for what they would. Like Claire Bronfman, she was like high up there, you know, like she was one of the main financiers of the Nexium cult. She put in millions of dollars of their own money into it. And I've heard that if, say, Keith Raniere and Nancy Salzman were to leave, she would be like third in charge. She's getting like maybe 20 months in prison or something like that for everything. And what they confessed to is unbelievable. I know Nancy Salzman's daughter has confessed that she kept a woman pretty much in captivity for 2 years to work as a personal and I think sex slave, and was threatening to deport her back to Mexico if she put up any fuss about it. So there were serious charges getting thrown around, but they're getting like slap on the wrist for everything that they've done. And I also heard that Alison Mack was actually, because she was high up in this like secret
She was
society
number two, I think.
boss, she was like Keith Raniere's like personal slave sort of thing. So she was like high up there too. But she was apparently big into the corporal punishment. Like she used to administer a lot of it. She used to take sadistic pleasure out of it. And they're getting like next to nothing happening. Like next to nothing is happening to these people.
Wow, fun times in Canada, huh?
Oh, that's in America, man.
Nexium is in America? No.
yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there are some Canadians involved in it, like Claire Bronfman's Canadian. There's a couple of Canadian actresses, but yeah, this is going on in a Brooklyn court right now, and actually, there's stronger connections back to Mexico than there are to Canada.
Yeah, I think the cult was in upstate New York, and the trial is in New York City because it's a federal trial, I think.
I believe so. I think you're right. Yeah, but yeah, like even like there was like 4 different Mexican presidents' childrens that were involved with the Nexium cult. Some people thought that Keith Raniere was trying to, like, one of them, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was running for election. Like the son who was involved in Nexium was running for election in like whatever it was the 2018 federal Mexican election. Some people believe that Raniere was trying to position him there so he could have like a puppet ruling Mexico.
I mean, like this is mind blowing. Like the machinations going on behind the scenes. I mean, like if Nexium can be taken down, like I wonder why people don't target Scientology.
Because Scientology has a lot more establishment and they have a lot more financial power.
Oh,
They
that-
sue
that-
they,
that-
they sue
like-
these journalists like nobody's business. It's like if you do a negative story on them, you're instantly going to be sued.
that's insane. Like they've been known to operate like a mafia also. Like
Oh, fuck.
there has to be some evidence somewhere.
Well, they're
I
banned
think
in-
yep, they're banned in Germany, and I know in the UK they don't have religious status.
Yeah, the world of cults is like insane, man. It's like unbelievable.
Oh man, it is so funny though, because I was watching this British dude that did like he did 2 different documentaries on Scientology. I think the first one was called Scientology and Me, and it was funny because he went to go talk to a few of these celebrities about him.
yeah, that
about
was
their
John Sweeney.
Was it John Sweeney?
Yeah,
Like the bald British dude?
The guy who screwed Tommy Robinson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Literally
Oh,
or
shit.
metaphorically?
No, he tried to screw Tommy Robinson, but Tommy got video of him saying all these like really homophobic things. So I don't know if he's been let go from the BBC, but he was definitely in hot water for a while.
Well, fuck. I
Yeah, there
remember.
was this up and coming, this conservative, whatever, this girl that was coming up, this black girl, Joy Villa. She turned out to be a Scientologist, and so since then she's just vanished. Since people have come to know.
What's that?
Hello, you remember Joy Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Is
turned out
it-
to be a Scientologist. After that, like she's just disappeared.
No, she hasn't disappeared, but people just aren't paying attention to her as much.
Yeah, it's like you become radioactive if once people know that you're from Scientology.
Well, I believe she was forced into Tom Cruise's basement.
You mean his
Really?
closet?
That's even better.
So I mean, the amount of blackmail material they must have on Tom Cruise by now.
Oh, without a doubt. Like that's the whole point of whatever they call it. Like it's like when you're entering it, they give you that. It's sort of like a worse version of a lie detector test. Like it's quite clear that the whole point of that is just to get dirt on you, so they can release it if you ever try and leave the religion. Like they've done it so many times, kind of like what is happening with Nexium, about how they had a bunch of dirt on people and were threatening to release it if anybody tried to leave the cult or go public about it. Like I think at least in
Yes.
Nexium, I think they had like nude images that you had to give them. But yeah, it's like the same thing that was going on in Scientology just about, but not necessarily nude images, just they have dirt on you, whatever that might be. Maybe you were maybe you got sent to prison one time, maybe you used to sleep around or something, maybe you got an illegitimate child, things like that.
I mean, like cults are so much. It seems like there's so much effort, man. You could just become like one of those porn production houses or something. Like it's just easier that way.
Well, there's something I wanted to address too with the British election coming up or the European election.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Farage is probably gonna kill it and get in first place unless something crazy happens and they lose like all their support in the last week or so. So
Yeah.
with that being said, Sargon and Count Dankula are both running for positions in the EU2, the EU elections over there on the UKIP platform. Do you think that that's the end for them?
For UKIP?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. You know what? It's not even Count Dankula in there. It's
No,
Sargon.
even Farage is not running on a UKIP ticket. I think he's joining the Conservative Party. I think.
No, I think he's trying to compete with the Conservative Party, but basically Sargon has. I mean, I think it's been good for his channel, some of the attention, but it's not been good for UKIP, and I don't think that they're going to get. First of all, they're for sure not going to get enough support, but I don't think he's going to get elected like he wanted.
Yeah, but I don't understand how Sargon can join UKIP because he's a left liberal guy. He has admitted it so many times on his channel. I mean, how can he run on a UKIP ticket, which is like a center-right party?
Well, they have all types of people in UKIP.
Oh, well, but it won't do any good for Sargon's credibility. Like if he
Actually,
joins,
this is
what is
right on the lines of what Sargon does. Like, have you ever seen that meme of Sargon dressed as the Grim Reaper as he moves from one door to the next? And it's like the atheist door, then it's like the skeptic's door,
yeah.
and then it's like on and on Kekistan, and they all have blood coming out of them, and then he's just knocking on the new one. Like, I think this one is UKIP. This is exactly what the guy does, is he gets involved with a group and he just like destroys it. So UKIP,
he's a chameleon.
Kind of. But UKIP actually was kind of popular, and then he got involved with it. Like, they weren't probably in the leading, they weren't leading yet, but their popularity since he's joined has just gone way downhill. Well, and someone like Mr. Medicare warned him about this. He says, listen, look at all the crap you've done on your channel. You think that reporters aren't going to dig that up? And this is exactly what's happening again. Like he's right now he's being investigated for the "I wouldn't even rape you" comments for the against the, I think it was a European Parliament politician. And I think he made those
Oh,
comments before he even entered politics, you know? But
Yeah,
he's
it was
being
like 5 years
investigated for
ago.
it. And it doesn't matter whether he, like, because people are pointing out, it's like, well, he's clearly saying that he wouldn't rape her. But it's like, it doesn't matter because they're just going to take the fact that he said that and run with it. And most people who aren't tuned in to who Sargon is just going to kind of like distance themselves from it. So, yeah, I mean, even Farage has called him out about this whole situation.
I mean, this is 2019, right? Like, if Bolsonaro in Brazil can get away with it, I think this guy can get away with it.
Well, that's the thing. I think that it's possible he could get elected to the European Parliament, Sargon,
That'll be
but
like a super troll.
yeah,
That'll be like super trolling.
I think
That's next level stuff.
it would be great if him and Dankula got in, and Tommy Robinson is also campaigning, but he couldn't get into UKIP, so he has to campaign as an independent. But they're basically going to, if they get into the European Parliament, I think that would be a huge step forward for YouTubers and the anti-censorship movement. But at the
Yeah.
moment, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen because there's just so many obstacles in the way, and I think a lot of voters who want Brexit too bad that they're just going to end up voting for Farage's party, and that after that, I mean, it's anyone's guess what happens because Jeremy Corbyn is not like if Labour doesn't do well in the elections, I think it could create more friction within the Labour Party, and then Corbyn will
Labor
have.
is on the breaking point.
What
Labor
do you
is on the
mean?
breaking point right now. I mean, like, there's too much division inside the Labour Party. Like, nobody likes Jeremy Corbyn. Like,
What?
at least the top leadership. I don't like Jeremy Corbyn anyway got elected by the unions. He didn't get a single vote from the established party members. They had an open election in the Labour vote bank, and because of the union support, who wholesale voted for Corbyn, that's how he got elected. But he is not liked by anybody in the Labour Party amongst at least amongst the politicians and working members.
Yeah, but
Because of him, Labour has lost a lot of seats also.
he has all
I
the
think.
younger voters though.
I mean, I don't know to what extent though. Like I sometimes it feels like yes he does, but then other times it feels that maybe it's a little that image is a little inflated that he has the support of the younger voters. So yeah, just see, you can't use the Glastonbury incident as a sort of a milestone and say, oh yeah, he does have the support. Those guys are idiots. Those guys are idiots. Those who attend the Glastonbury festival with £200 a ticket. Like those guys are not labor at all. Like they are not even remotely connected to the working class or the unions. So to say that Jeremy Corbyn has the support of youth who are actually wealthy, like that does no that's in fact a disservice to the Labour Party. Like it doesn't help Corbyn in any way.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I think like really like if that's going to be exposed, it would have to be now with this European election. So people would basically say, look, if he was so popular, how come Labor didn't kill it in the election? The
Exactly.
fact is, I mean, the Conservatives are going to lose a lot of seats, but
Yeah.
the you know most of it's going to be gained not by Labor but by the Brexit Party. And then you have to wonder, apparently there's a by-election that comes right after that. If the Brexit Party can win that, which is in a very high leave area, then both of the two major parties have a lot to fear from them.
Yeah, somebody explained that to the BBC though. They are in their own world. It's like they're on an acid trip or something.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I do want to say thank you to everybody for joining. I think we're gonna cut it off now, but
Yeah.
I want you guys to first of all like the stream, also subscribe to Adrian's channel. That's just my stupid opinion on YouTube. You can see my video about Hillary Clinton being left off of the Mother's Day card from the Democratic Governors Association. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. You can also, if you guys want to throw me some money, because I know all of you are just desperate to you're desperate to support a good cause, but there aren't that many out there, so you can just give me money on Subscribestar and pretend that you're helping people. So you can find me on Subscribestar. Just look up Chef Leopard. And anything else? What do you guys have a last word, Adrian?
No, I don't think so. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
So that'll be it. That's me, Bold Like a Leopard, with Arjun Sinha, and of course, Just My Stupid Opinion. And we'll be in touch. Hopefully, this becomes more of a regular occasion. And that's about it. Happy Mother's Day, and also don't get too drunk while you're around your mom, so she doesn't have to call the cops on you.
That sounds so dirty.
All right.
Yeah, good. Yeah, classy as always.
Inappropriate.